I've recruited many people, so have you. So I've interviewed something like 10,000 people. I've interviewed 10,000 people from about 50 nationalities and in 20 countries. Now I am a leadership trainer, a coach, a speaker, and a writer. The first of this, what is the cost of not doing it right? So we have a negative spiral of synergy based on the wrong type of leadership, the wrong type of personal power, the wrong type of communication. Let's make a positive assumption that when you come in to lead a team or to join a team, that everyone is relatively open to exchange, to tell you their experience, to help you achieve, and they assume that you are helpful and open to contribute in your own way as well. This may or may not be completely true, but often people will say, hello new person, sit down, join us. What happens next is critical. There are normally mistakes. It's normally just a misunderstanding with no intention, no evil, no badness. It's just a mistake in communication. You have a sender, you have a receiver, something goes wrong in between, and we enter the negative spiral of synergy or leadership communication. There is a misunderstanding, there is a mistake. Trust is damaged, communication is damaged, and people's openness to give information, people's openness to receive information closes down. What happens when you do not exchange information in a team or in a project? You get a mistake. That mistake really damages the flow of information, and it can be enough for that team to stop functioning. And there's normally some consequence, some form of minor escalation. The customer says they're not happy. A deadline is missed. Something goes wrong. There's a signal that something is not going smoothly. If it is not mended, the bad news continues. The next escalation is the big, nasty people get involved. It's a director, it's the government, it's the contract guys, the purchasing people with a penalty clause. And you get to a level where there is no communication, no trust, no help. This is completely avoidable, by the way, and it's mostly reversible. But we've all had some sort of situation of the first level or the second level, or the nightmare scenario, which is the third level. The senior people cannot cure it, and you have project failure. So failure is the ultimate result of a misunderstanding. So in terms of personal power or leadership, it's about what we can do to help this. So to involve the audience, I want you to do some thinking. Can I ask you, some people are writing notes, this is good. If you have a pen, if you have a paper, this is good. Can I ask you now to just spend 1 minute remembering the worst day in work? You were a supervisor, you were a manager, you were a leader, or we can take it broader than that. You were a parent, you were in a team. It could be a sports-related thing. What was the worst day for communication, for teamwork, for leadership? Maybe write down a note, those of you with your pens out or your people there. So remember the worst day. You may confer with your colleagues. This is a good thing to do. Now, before you get too depressed, I want to reverse this. Now, happy face, remember the best of times. What was the best thing you have ever done to influence somebody else, to lead somebody else, to help somebody else, maybe in work? Can you remember the best of times? Some people are struggling in the middle there. I'm sure you had a good day. Last week, last month, last year. There'll be something. Always, always, always. You wouldn't have reached the heady heights to be invited here if you were not very, very successful. So we've done that. We've looked at the worst and we've looked at the best. Now I want to bring in the neuroscientists and see what's happened there. So I ask you one question. How did you remember? How did you just remember? So you've just done the worst and the best. Was it with words? Did you hear your voice in your head? If so, were those words negative for the negative, positive for the positive? Some of you will confuse me by saying it was negative for the positive. You will frighten me if you say it was positive for the negative. So you used words in your head. They probably weren't English, but you used words in your head. How did you use those words? Which words did you use? Some of you imagined a picture or a film in your head. Was it positive for the positive, negative for the negative? Can you close your eyes now and think of that image of the best day? Some of you, most of you will be visual people, and you will see the world and you'll be able to create pictures for yourself. I noticed there was a slight shift in energy from the worst day to the best day. How we hold our bodies influences how we think. So the neuroscience, as that comes in, as we link brain to behavior, we have the mind and the body as one. There are places in the brain, there are places in the body, there is a connection. So if we repeat remembering by telling a story, by seeing a story, by moving to a story, repeatedly, rehearsedly, it creates a belief. It can be a negative belief. It can be a self-limiting belief. I can't. A lot of people don't have a problem with saying, I'm no good with numbers, I can't count. This is a self-limiting belief, and if you tell it to yourself enough, you will believe it and it will become completely true. So I ask you, what is the opportunity in this scenario where the mind and the body are connected this way? It is a completely reversible process. So you are telling yourself lies, self-limiting lies. Why not choose to tell yourself self-enabling lies? Be dishonest, but make it positive. So give yourself permission to change the way that you think, you speak, you see, and you behave. It will have amazing consequences on how long you live, how much you earn, how much promotion, and the size of the house and the car that you live in and that you drive.